What is going on, guys? What's happening? Sorry we're late. Just sorting out a few technical issues. Um, so today, welcome to Five Rounds. It's episode. What is it? Series four. Series four, round two. Today we have Mr. Fadson from the Fadson podcast. How's it going?
I'm all
Uh,
good, bro. I am
we
all good. It's a pleasure to be back with you boys. A pleasure.
Welcome back, man. Welcome back. Glad to have you on this special episode. Obviously I'm Wantali, and then we've got Patrick. How's it going, Patrick? You good?
I'm good, man. I'm good, man.
Oh, please.
Oh,
And
you
then
wanna play? You wanna play those games now?
I
Yeah.
know, man. These guys are wearing it. Oh my goodness. People are on the football thing. We got OV too nice.
Representing what it do, what it
Representing,
does.
that's it. Representing Five Rounds and the Five Rounds merch. All right. So today, the topic today is Euro 2020. So what we're doing is we're doing a review on Euro 2020. So it's Euro 2020, the unspoken aftermath. What does that mean? So basically, we're going to talk about the events, the key events that occurred during and after Euro 2020. Of course, there are a lot of things that people have been talking about. You've probably seen it in social media. You've seen all the controversy, the joy, laughter, pain, and all of that. Um, First off, to start with, right? The first thing I wanted to kick off was, the Euros turned out to be a good tournament, given that it was, with COVID restrictions pushed back and all of that stuff. But with the Euros came a lot of controversy, right? One of them was booing national anthems and booing the knee. Um, what do we mean by that? So national anthems, as you know, is a very respected anthem, or I guess a rhythm for a country. It's like a creed for a country, and you found that the national anthems were being booed, and people, when England players took the knee, they were booed by their own fans and stuff like that. Before I go around the table, I just wanted to highlight the key things that came out of it. So, for example, um, I think Priti Patel came out and said, "Look, taking the knee is a gesture of politics." So everyone that people believe that, oh, if you're taking the knee, you're in support of Black Lives Matter, basically. And even the PM, the Prime Minister of the UK, refused to endorse, refused to, sorry, to condemn booing. He sort of said, "Oh, people are entitled to their opinion," which sort of put fuel into the fire. So, what I wanted to know is, guys, what are your thoughts on this? In fact, I'll start with the guest. I'll start with Fadson. What are your thoughts on booing national anthems and booing people taking the knee? What are your thoughts on that?
One word is disrespect, man. It really, really is. Like, I mean,
Um,
I was brought up to respect other nationalities and people's cultures, and where we were all raised. I don't ever remember once I know I don't ever remember once it being acceptable to not to disrespect another country's national anthem, which to me, I think that to me, till now, it's disappointing, man. It's disgusting. So my answer to that is, it's sad. It's sad that it's had to come to stuff like this, man. It really is.
that is true, man. That is true. I mean, some of the people believe that they were booing because it's their freedom of speech. So they were looking at it this way: while the players are taking a knee, and expressing their freedom of speech, people felt, okay, our way of, countering that is by booing what you're doing. And there was a certain guy on the radio. In fact, I mean, this has been going on Twitter. I think Patrick is my witness. On Twitter, you've got people that are really against this whole taking the knee thing. Like, it really roused them up. They call it Marxism. And I said, what is Marxism? You know what I mean? And nobody tells me a clear answer for what Marxism is. They've just heard this word, put a label on it, and gone, we're going to boo that. you know. And there was a guy who was being interviewed, you know, on LBC radio, I think it was. And they were asking him, why do you boo people? Oh, because they support Black Lives Matter. Why? What? So have you found out why they do it? And it said, no. Okay, said, well, they do it because of, you know, the racism that has happened in football, or all of that, the oppression, the online abuse. That's the reason they do it. They're not doing it for Black Lives Matter. They're doing it because it's a symbol of protest. The guy's like, no, but it's related to Black Lives Matter, and Black Lives Matter was the reason my relative died. You know, this argument went on, and this guy was just like, yeah, you know, he said, look, so you're booing them because you think you know better when you don't understand what they're doing. You know what I mean? I don't know, Patrick. How do you feel about this? You know, like, do you feel people have, you know, have the right to boo somebody who is, I don't know, standing up for what they believe in, or standing up for awareness? You know, what do you think, Patrick?
I think you already know about me and this matter. I think just about months ago I made a video about racism, about warning. I was also warning people in my video that if we don't continue verifying these people or policing these bad behaviors, or looking, or try to find them and giving them harsh punishments, things like this will happen. There was people, I think you and me had arguments on Facebook, on Twitter. You're right about that, where
Yeah.
I tagged you and you tagged me, and we ended almost a 2-day war with somebody until we gave up and said they want to listen.
Yeah.
Look, you saw the videos. I don't know, Fadson, if you saw them. If you're on football Twitter, people were proudly actually doing videos. They hold the phone in front of them like this, and then they have somebody kneeling at the back and booing with all their passion. Like, they were booing all the time and saying, oh, the reason why I'm booing is I'm booing the BLM movement. I'm not booing.
Oh, he's gone.
He's
Yeah.
gone.
So that, honestly, what he's saying is, the guys, again, what I was saying, the guys were so passionate about booing the BLM movement. Yeah, but then, you know, and in fact, relating BLM to politics, that they called racism political. I was like, listen. So what you're saying is racism is political? They're like, no, but BLM is. I'm like, yeah, but people are kneeling because of racism, not BLM. You know.
Yeah, sorry about that. I just got
Yeah.
cut. My
Sorry.
network just went bad.
Carry on, man. I actually just picked up where you left off, but yeah, carry on, man.
No, that's the thing. They keep saying that it's the movement, the booing, and then they start bringing in excuses as the reason why apparently the Black Lives Matter movement is just an organization that sucks support and earns money or something, or tries to be popular based on racism. But look, there's been organizations out there and other things that have been done in the world, and organizations that obviously will take money from charity, saying that a charity organization. I don't see anybody booing them, and they've been exposed. Nobody boos. They continue supporting them. They continue donating to these organizations. I won't mention the names, but it looks like everything that attaches itself with black racism, people think, oh, I have to boo this. It's embarrassing, as Fadson say, to be booing somebody's national anthem. And look, we know what nation was doing that the most. That nation is popular of causing issues wherever they go. I don't want to point fingers, but booing somebody's national anthem is very disrespectful. And if it was another nation booing their national anthem, how I know how passionate they are about their national anthem, how passionate they are about their country, there would be war, there would be issues. But they feel like they're above others to just, you know what I mean? Yeah. So that was a bit out of place. And booing the players kneeling is just you being racist. Don't try to make no, it's simple. Don't try to make an excuse. Everybody have asked, like, why you booing them kneeling? Their excuses don't make sense. They don't make sense at all.
No.
Because
No.
look,
No, do you know what? That's the best thing I've heard for a while. You booing that is just proving that you're a fucking racist. That's what.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I mean, I think
Excuse
this one.
my language. Sorry.
Nah, it's fine. I think Rio Ferdinand said the same thing, and he was trending on Twitter the next day because of that. They were like, "Oh, you forget that you were racist once." You know what I mean? The people were pulling out old things that he had said about something racial, and going, "Yeah, but you've been racist before." You know, I'm like, really?
Yeah, but then
You know?
if it's the same thing I'm thinking of, he said it. He was a young player at the time. He was put back into.
It was weird to see. I think around the kneeling part, you know, and booing the kneeling, there's a really, I guess, because people are sort of not backing one thing until racism happens, that's when they're like, oh yeah, let's condemn racism. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're sort of allowing people to sort of add fuel to this fire. Instead of just going, listen, don't boo people when they're doing that. Give them respect. Okay, voice your opinion, but what's booing gonna achieve compared to what they're doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I thought. I mean,
And before we move on, do you remember during that argument we had on Twitter, I explained to your man. I explained to your man, if you remember, I said, look, the kneeling thing might not be anything to you, but you say it doesn't even change anything. I was like, look, I accept it. It might not change anything, but in about few years, right? When somebody asks, like somebody younger, let's say the child of my child, but my grandchildren ask me, it's like, can I ask something? During football matches, why were you guys kneeling in the year 2020, 2019? These years, why was they kneeling? Why was this? You can tell them that, look, there was a guy called George, and he was murdered because of racism. So you see, it will remind them that people fought, and it also gives, it's sort of like a symbol. It's an awareness thing that, look, it reminds those racist people that you put your foot on, you put your knee on somebody's father. As the daughter said, my father was killed by somebody who claims to say it was an accident. You see, so that was an actual racism. And every time it reminds us when those players kneel that, look, there's people like that who are so racist, they'll go to the point where they can kneel on somebody. So we have to stop it. So even though people say, oh, it'll never change anything, no, we still want to remind you of what the knee did to somebody like George Floyd. So that's what I can also say, as I said to your man on Twitter last time.
Yeah, and obviously, I think for people that do not understand the definition of a national anthem is a solemn patriotic song officially adopted by a country as an expression of a national identity. So for me, I feel like if you're gonna boo a national anthem, just by that definition alone, you're against that country. You've disrespected an entire country. Now, as far as I know, in this country, you're raised to respect one another, to also respect people regardless of their belief, race, or whatever it is. So if you're saying you're not racist, or you don't hate people, why are you going to boo somebody else's expression or national identity? I think it's the highest order of disrespect, to be honest. But yeah, welcome back, Ovi. Moving along, we're going to get into the racism part. I think I'll go straight to Ovi. So, as we know, three players: Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho, and Saka suffered, high levels of racism online. For Rashford, it was even as bad as somebody labeling something on his mural, on his that graffiti drawing. So, first of all, Jovita, do you think it was fair, in a football sense, do you think it was fair to set up Rashford for that sort of stage, considering the drama that went on that day, let alone that tournament? You know what I mean? What do you think, Jovita?
So, as in the whole situation, or do you think was it fair on Rashford?
Yeah, was it fair for him to not play the whole tournament, right, and be expected to put a ball in front of a net, in front of fans that he hasn't played around for about a year, because everybody thinks it was just easy, when people say, oh yeah, he should have just put it left, put it right. He was going against one of the best keepers, best young keepers in the world, who saved
And
over
very huge guy too.
6'5", saved over 60% of his penalties, right? And everybody's going, yeah, that's so easy. Yeah, you said it's always the black players. What do you think about that in a football sense and also in a racial sense? I mean, do you think that was fair on him, basically?
Yeah, I think first of all, I think in a football sense, I could tell something like that. Excuse me, guys. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Yeah. Thank you. In a football sense, I think. Look, at the end of the day, in football, he has to take a penalty. He's a football player. He's part of the team. He has to take a penalty, right? But you know how everything was. I think, to me, if I was a coach, I would know. I could kind of sense what was going to come through, and I would say maybe put him at a later stage for him to take the penalties or something like that. But in general, basic, it was not fair for him when he misses people to treat him that way. I don't think, man, he's not the first player to me. Look at guys, France were kicked out of the same tournament because of Mbappe, one of their best players in the team. one of the best players in the world. You know, he missed a penalty. France didn't treat him the way England have treated Rashford. Yeah, there were people saying, "Oh, Mbappe has missed, but later on, he's the youngest player that has lifted the World Cup. Come to England, Rashford misses a penalty. They're kicked out. Boo-hoo, you know what I mean? And everybody's calling him names and all that. I don't think it's fair because for example, do you think if England had won, would they have said Rashford has scored a good penalty, or would they still be in the same thing?
That's the problem with the racist English football fans that will hide behind their keyboards. That's the problem. That's the difference. Marcus Rashford sent the keeper the wrong way. I think everyone forgets that.
Yeah.
That was a perfectly hit penalty in my opinion. It hit the post and it didn't go in. Marcus Rashford, he takes penalties regularly for Manchester United. He buries
It does.
time. So it was never a bad penalty. He sent the keeper the wrong way. He did something that not many people can do. He did it, but because it didn't go in, the racists come crawling out from under their stupid little rocks that they hide under. That's the problem. That's the fucking problem with this. And this is where we need to try and make a difference, try and change shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Fadson coming in with the fire straight away.
No, but that's true.
I told you. So as I said to Wandel the other day on the phone, we've recorded ours as well on the Fadson podcast. So it's hard for me not to hold back when it comes to this, because everyone knows. Like,
it's fair, man. It's fair, man.
So I will come out. I will just burst out with some random big bits because it affects me, man. It affects me big time, man. So. And you know the sad thing is, as soon as the shootout was done, I said to my friends next to me, I said, you know what annoyed me most about this? Like, England did well, man. They've done what they needed to do to get to this stage in the tournament. The furthest that any other English team has got in 55 odd years, yeah. So the problem is, I'm giving it 10 to 15 minutes, and there'll be racism all over the internet. And they were like, no. You think, yeah, watch.
There will be.
10 minutes time, what had happened? The racism was all over the place, man, and that's the problem, man.
Yeah, absolutely, totally agree, man. So yeah, I absolutely, if it was, I don't know, if it was Grealish who missed that penalty, right? For example, would he have gotten the same treatment? Would he have gotten the pelters that he was getting, that Rashford would have gotten? You got to think about it that way, because these people, what's the difference between them? Just color. They're both English, So why is it that when a Rashford, Sancho, Saka, if they miss penalties, they have to be scared? Because people in this country say there's no racism, but guys, the day that these guys missed penalties, there were rumors that black people were leaving the stadium early to avoid the drama. If you're saying this is a country that
is sad, man, that's so sad. You know what I mean?
Exactly. If you're saying that this is a country for everyone, right? Why is it that before even the game ends, when Rashford took that penalty, when he was taking that penalty, I was like, please don't miss. For the sake of Man United and black people, I was thinking, do not miss, because I can't deal with this. Why am I feeling that way if people are saying that, there's no racism in the country? Come on, guys. Honestly.
A good friend of mine he called out some racism on Twitter that same night. He got his account suspended for 12 hours.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens. You're right. It happened to me last week.
He called out racism. He called out racist behaviors. He called it out. He just came out with it and called it out. He had his account suspended for 12 hours. Sorry. I don't understand that at all. I don't get it.
No.
They send you an email. I'll show you. They send not an email. They send you a message. They tell you that you've been suspended because of abusive content or something. I'll show you. There was a message I received. I was out for it, but for me it wasn't 24 hours. They said, can you go, if you want to fight this, press this, go through this process. So I pressed everything, and then they got me back after a few hours. But it's just that I said something about the monkey emojis, and I don't know who reported me.
Yeah, that's what it was.
So somebody must have reported me.
About the monkey emojis. That's what it was.
So why is it that people are getting banned for calling racism out, yet people are still posting monkey emojis on their profiles and still being able to, post till today. How is that possible?
I
What
I thought
kind
they
of
actually
say that Twitter is
recommend.
freedom of speech or something. That's what they say. And
yeah,
yet when you tackle something bad or bullying, you get cancelled. I remember me and some guy. His name is Kington. He's Kington is from Jamaica, and we were fighting against Liverpool fans, and we were obviously giving it back, on behalf of City. When they're talking about City spending money, we're giving it back. We were the ones who got both of us got suspensions. We got suspended. He got suspended more. He was completely suspended to the point where he had to make another account. And we didn't understand saying we were being more polite. So basically, I think there's even power in numbers. So the numbers that report you, I think they see it more as serious. They take more
Yeah.
serious offense with its numbers. So I bet you the amount of racists who went and well, reported them were so many, and they're like, oh, obviously, let's satisfy the majority of the users. I think that's what it's based on. Maybe that's just my feeling, because that time, me and the Liverpool fans were just going back and forth. There's two City fans versus like 7. They were just tagging each other, and then we found you've been suspended. Your tweets can't be seen anymore, and he was completely suspended. So Fadson is right, and you know what? Let me just something Ovila said. What I have noticed in England, not in England, yeah, especially England. Look, I'm going to speak directly to you English fans, and you can hate on me, but I'm going to speak directly to you guys. You keep saying Italians are racist, right? I've seen Balotelli do a few things in the national team. I never saw monkey emojis. They criticized him for being childish. That's what
Yeah.
they say, that he's not
yeah.
serious and childish. Same thing as Mbappe, missing the pen. We never had monkey emojis. It was only his
No.
Rabiot's mom talking to the family, and she wasn't being racist. She was
Yeah.
just saying
No.
your son is a bit cocky. Tell him to calm down. This is not about him. You guys keep saying, "Oh, other countries are racist. All that racist." I haven't seen monkey emojis from players. From Zakaria is not. Zakaria plays for what is it? Sweden or
Sweden, yeah.
what?
No,
Sweden, yeah.
Switzerland, I think it is.
Switzerland.
Yeah.
Zakaria we've never heard that he's been sent monkey emojis. Or the other black players who play in other teams. It's always England. And the funny thing about England is they're
There's
British.
more. And do you know the other funny thing before we go on quick? There are more black players in the English teams than any other of those other teams you're mentioning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you get my point. Is you're British only when you're performing. When you're
Yeah.
performing, oh, Raheem is a star. Oh my God, he's top tier. When he's perform, Sancho is such a star. Rashford, oh my God, Rashford. Oh, but when they
When
miss, oh, that African. So it becomes African. You're no longer British. You're African. You're the monkey now. So it's
Even
quite
worse,
funny.
even worse, it's just you're black. It's not your African. It's just you're black. That's it.
Yeah. So you become black when you do such things. So it's quite disappointing.
He missed because he's black. How can you even say something like that? Are you mad?
That's it. I mean, there was a guy. I think there's a guy who went. I think he posted something on Instagram or something like that, and what he was saying, like he had the guts. I mean, there are people out there who are hiding behind keyboards, but then there's people that actually press record and go, "Yeah, we lost because of these." I think he called it. Like honestly, the what he said was terrible. But
Did you know that the N-word was trending on Twitter? That's how bad it got.
Look at that, man. And then
It was trending.
and people are saying, "Oh, my account got hacked." Nonsense, bullshit, man. anyway, let's move on from that point. But guys, you know what I mean? With this racism thing, we can talk about this for hours on end. But I think people need to wake up a little bit. I do acknowledge that there are people out there that acknowledge that racism is bad. In fact, advocate for love and not racism. I think the minute we talk about it more, I think it pisses the racism people off, and I'll talk about it forever if I have to, if I'm gonna piss these people off. You know what I mean? So
True, man,
guys,
true.
we have to talk about it, even if you can stand there and say I'm not racist. We still have to talk about it because do you want your children to grow up and you just continue this vicious cycle? I don't think so. So yeah. Next part, yeah, is domestic violence. This one I just picked up pretty much when England lost on Twitter. What was trending was national helplines for women, all kinds of like domestic violence, like organizations were just pretty much throwing out tweets like if your man is beating on you during the Euros, call this number. If you feel like when he comes home after England have lost, we're there for you. And I was thinking to myself, rah, why are these guys doing? Why is this trending? Do you know what I mean? And I saw a stat. Apparently, in the World Cup, when England were playing, So every time they played, domestic violence went up by 28%. From what figure to what figure, I do not know. But then every time England lost, the figures went up to 38%, bro. You know what I mean? So
Wow.
for me, I thought, okay, racism is there, cool. Booing national anthems, cool. But then you go from hating the next black man, the black player, to then beating your wife. What kind of man are you? Like, honestly, like, for me, I don't know, But guys, what do you think? Like, is this football that's contributing to this, or is it individuals that just decide to be idiots? What do you guys think? This is open for anyone.
I don't
I
even
mean,
know where to start.
I don't
Wow.
think it's
You know
it's
what? I didn't even know. I didn't even realize that those were actual like
Yeah,
an actual thing that happens. Like wow. What kind of a man are you exactly? I mean,
me, the way I can say it is, I think the way I'm gonna take it, I think it's the fact that every time England was playing, half the lads were going off on a drink on the piece. You know what I mean? Heavy drinking,
yeah,
and I've seen English people, a big high percentage of them, when they drink, they're violent, they're violent people. They like arguing, they like fighting, even in the pubs.
yeah,
So I'll say they were bringing that home. They were bringing, even though they win, but they were bringing that alcohol of excuse violence. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Probably on a bender, go home and the girlfriend or the missus or whatever, whoever talks to them in some way and they lose the plot. So imagine the same scenario. England has lost and then they go home, plus England losing. That's why I would say it was going to 38%. But
Hmm.
it's a really shocking figure, and it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Like, I don't understand who some like. If I was English, if I was an English person, I would be ashamed to be seeing things like that. You know what I mean? It's
yeah.
pure. It's pure. That's nasty, disgusting
But it
stuff.
starts at the top, man. It starts at the top. Just look like I'm not trying to attack your prime minister, but it also starts from your prime minister. And look, who was picked as a prime minister right now? Somebody who's gone on TV said Muslim women look like boxes. Somebody
Yeah,
who's gone on TV and said Africans look like pickaninnies. Like he says, Africa was better off under colonialism, and if Africa wants to do better, they should allow England to colonize them again and they should obey again. You see what I mean? So this is a guy who is at the top, and you can't be surprised that years after years things like this are happening. Bad policing, and if I am a citizen and that's what my prime minister is saying, I think I'm so happy. I'll be like, you know what, like, we can do anything. If this guy gets away with all this and this guy says all these things, he will definitely support us. You're right about that. It
Mm.
also, I don't know if you can also enter this domestic violence, just because I saw an article saying domestic violence, but it didn't concentrate on houses. It actually said domestic as in England itself. I heard
right,
there was a lot of stabbings, there was a lot of beatings, a lot of black people were beaten,
right. Okay.
few people were attacked. Like, as I said, it comes from the top, no policing at all. Like, who was organizing these Euros? Don't you? I'm pretty sure that they're not organized overnight. Where like, or like some people when they're going on a night out, they're like, I'm going on a night out tomorrow. And or sometimes somebody calls you at 6 o'clock. You're like, by 8, do you want to come out? And you're like, yeah. So you're unorganized. You end up maybe forgetting your wallet. But these guys knew the Euros are coming. There was no police at all. These streets were just free for anybody. I was seeing videos of grown-ass men taking firecrackers and putting them up their butts and blowing them up in the middle of the street. I was seeing videos of grown-ass men naked and dancing on the middle of the street. That's before the match was played. That was the day before. So if the day before are these things happening, why wouldn't you police the streets? Why wouldn't you make security tight? At the point where people jumped into Wembley for free, and there's a
Yeah.
few people who were saying you could see there's violence, there's fighting, there's people being stamped on. There was that Indian guy being stamped on live on a
That
video. So you
that
see,
is
all these things are connected. Like, it looks like there's no care and no policing at all. And you know what, Ovidio, what I can tell you is people have lost before. Teams have lost. You get drunk, you go out on a night out, and your team loses in the Champions League final. Your team loses in the final, or as somebody misses a pen and you're so pissed off, you don't go home and say, "Oh, today just because we lost, I'm going to beat my wife, I'm going to beat my kids, I'm going to beat my partner, or I'm going to beat my husband. I think that's just mentality. As I tell you, this all comes from the top. It's the mentality of being arrogant. It's also the mentality of thinking, oh, we are too good, we can get away with things. But that's how it is, man. It's just sad to see that such a percentage, 38% is a big percentage. And hopefully this gets pinned down in this country. People improve, people get help. I hope the people who do this get help, to be honest. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Hey, Patrick, I totally agree with what you're saying. But looking at what you said with obviously Boris Johnson and him sort of calling Africans this and calling all these names and looking at him as the source of this issue, I think yes, he adds to the issue, but also one must look at themselves, right? You must look at yourself and think like, how should I behave as a person? Just because your leader is saying that, it doesn't justify you exerting unnecessary violence on your partner or thinking of different people, different ethnicities in a different way or hateful way. That is not what England is about. Maybe that's what England was, but that's not what it's about, and that's what I believe anyway. So yeah, I mean, with the gate crashing thing, we'll get back to that point. I think it's the next thing we're going to talk about. But before we actually get to that point, I mean, you know, how do you deal with something like this? I mean, because when I saw this domestic violence helpline whatnot come up on Twitter, that was a reactionary thing. But how do we deal with this? I mean, how do we quell something like this? Because something like this can make somebody fall out of love with football, with stuff like that. Because people are saying football brought the UK together. Yeah, it did during the tournament. Then it tore us apart again. You know what I mean?
Do you know what I think? To me, personally, I think this would be a good idea. I know it can never happen. Like, for example, now, you see England has been bidding to host the World Cup, yeah? With that behavior, no one would accept that, first of all. No one. If I was there, I would say, no, good luck. I would say no. But another thing I want to say, don't you think if they said, I know sometimes it's not the supporters' fault, but what if they punish the team for the supporters?
They already do.
That's what needs to happen. It's
no,
the
but
racist supporters.
Yeah, but you mean punish them in a way that, like, let's say if they said, you know what, because of what you guys are doing as supporters, because you mean you love your team will not perform a certain tournament. That kind of way.
Oh, right.
That is what's supposed to be happening, but they don't do it.
Because imagine like that time when Man United was trying to play with Liverpool, right? And I'm a Man United fan. The way what supporters did, right? Twice, and until they still wanted to do it again. If the guy said, all right, no problem, you guys want to do that, you're saying you love your team so much, but you're doing that. Okay, we're going to take your team out of it's not going to play this, they're going to lose, and we're giving 3 points to the other team. They're going to be pissed more, but they're fans, and the team will say, guys, as your fans, you have made us lose 3 points. So if you're at the bottom of the table, don't blame us not playing well because of how we're behaving. If they do it again, 3 points, give it to the other team.
Right.
Me, I think as a fan, if I was acting the bollocks like that, and it's caused because of me, my team has done that. Because I was doing something great, but I've only made it worse for me as a true fan. Because to be honest, guys, yes, some of them we can say some of them are not true fans. They're just people who are sitting behind the keyboard and all that. But guys, inside there's some of them that are true fans that they probably have never missed an English game when it's playing. But because they're racist, and when something bad happens, they want to blame the black person. When the team performs, they don't blame the black person. You know what I mean? Not all of them are just one-time fans, right?
Yeah, you just reminded me something. Do you know what I thought? And this is quite funny. As I told you, remember I told you that I was in Russia, and I said Russia was openly racist. I don't know if I ever told you of it or any of you guys that when I saw Russia was hosting that tournament, I was like, oh my God, how are they allowed to host that tournament? Like, how people are going to be stabbed, people are going to be killed. So, English fans, you're telling me that country we label racist as Russia, and I'm saying I was there in Russia, and yes, they are racist and they're openly racist.
Even when you meet a Russian person,
they'll tell you, look, man, I'm drinking with
you, like
but
black
black bastard. They'll tell you straightforward and continue drinking with you. But you guys pretend as if you're not racist. You say you're not racist, that there's no racism in English. But look at that. In Russia, no violence was done. People were taking pictures with African people. Things went so smooth at the point where there was nothing done. And somebody had a report saying they were shocked and surprised, but they organized it so well. They did the tournament, and you guys who claim to say you are the home of football have your Euros, and boom, this is what happens. And by the way, let's also bring this out. Let's not forget who carried you to the final. Let's just not forget who carried you to the final.
Yes.
Who carried you to the final was Raheem Sterling.
Raheem Sterling, a black person.
Yeah,
but at that time, they were happy for him.
Yeah,
it was lovely.
He carried you to the final.
Guys, do you remember at the beginning of the tournament, even Raheem Sterling wasn't playing so well?
They said drop him. They said
they said I drop him. That one drop him. People, a lot of people said I drop him. But then he started performing.
And he scores goals.
And that is gone. They forget about it. And I'm telling you, that penalty, if it was been Raheem Sterling even to miss, they'd have called him names. Forgetting that all along.
Him, they have a special section for him in the newspaper. Special. But okay, let's just talk about that. Players like Foden, who I love, didn't perform. And we were saying Gaza, blonde hair.
Haircut.
Yeah, you know? Harry Kane didn't even perform. He only scored at the end. Where are the monkey emojis for them?
But listen, and also if Sterling had that Gaza haircut, if Sterling dyed his hair and he performed the way Foden did, would he? Guys, he would have been hammered. You know, I don't see anything about Foden apart from showing every England player with a Gaza haircut or whatever it is. Do you know what I mean? I don't see none of that. Oh yeah, you've done us proud. And then when it comes to Rashford, let's draw a dick on his fucking picture. Yeah, sure. That's brilliant.
Is that what they did?
That's what they did.
I didn't see it so well. I just saw people covered something there.
Yeah, they did a lot to that mural, man. That's in his hometown, isn't it?
In his hometown as well.
Yeah, and he's been feeding kids that can't even afford stuff, man. He's been doing good stuff for the country.
That's what I'm saying. Do you know what? There's a saying I remember my mother used to say to me in Chichia, but I tried to translate it in English. She used to say, if you have a servant, right, and you can feed them every day, feed them food, give them something every day, but one day you only had, let's say, one banana, one food, and you eat it, and you give him the after you peel it, what you call them? Not the wrappers. When you peel the banana peel. Yeah. If you give him the banana, the banana skin, you say, "Oh, go and throw it for me that side." That person will forget all the time that you've given him food, but they remember this guy can just eat his banana and give me to go and throw the peel, and which is true.
That's a good one, man. That's a good one.
And when she said that, I kind of thought, I was like, that's true. You can feed me every day, but if you do it one day, maybe you didn't give me food, and you give me, can you go and throw this banana peel for me? I'll remember that. You're stupid, yeah? You're forgetting all the good times that when there's loads, he give you.
You're right about that. People pick your bad moment, don't they? They forget all the good work you've done.
Very true.
Remember the bad. Yeah, that's true, man. So moving on. So the next section, well, it's not really a long one anyway. It's about the gate crashes, basically. Backstory to this. I mean, there were videos circulating about people getting kicked. At first, people thought it was Italian fans who were getting kicked and whatnot. Those were English fans, the news recorded it properly. Basically, the fans that paid were already in the stadium, and the guys that did not pay were trying to force their way through. Now, while these guys were forcing their way through, they were met by the hooligans, the people that took matters into their own hands and thought, you know what, I paid, this guy didn't pay, I'm gonna kick his ass. You know what I mean? And that's what happened. There was a guy who was getting kicked in the head on camera. This old guy tried to knock out a kid, for wanting to come and see something he loves. No, I'm not really advocating for the guys that broke through the gate, but on Twitter, once again, this happens on Twitter. There was a guy who commented on this video, said, yeah, they deserve it. Why did they break through and all this stuff? Guys, what do you think? Is it justifiable for people that have paid to get in to now take things into their own hands and start beating people up that are gate crashing? What do you guys think?
What would you do if you have paid at a party but someone is coming in for free? Would it not hurt you? You say, so why are you letting me to pay when other people are coming for free? Let's be honest.
Then is my problem with the person that's gate crashing or the person that is managing the party?
Wow,
Yeah,
that's a
but
good one,
how,
Charlie.
it's good. But how many managers do you have that are at the party? If you tell me you've got one bouncer at the door and there's
Yeah,
a group of 12, do you think that
yeah,
bouncer is going to think about that you're paying me? You just say, hey, why should I die for? But it means even the security, as you've said, it wasn't being policed enough. You've
right,
said earlier on. It means it
right,
wasn't policed enough. That's why there was not enough people, security, to stop those people get crashing. If they
right,
had put enough security, understanding the situation, it's COVID time, you need to have a limit of people. They know people are going to go mad. This guy is saying there was men in the street, grown-ass men, putting firecrackers up their back. Pa, 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 and nothing. Nobody even saying anything. People, I've seen another video here, naked guys standing in a big area on tables, butt naked with drinks, dancing there. And the police, you can see them on the other side, they don't care. My man, today try and go into the streets, butt naked, drink a boat. My man, you end up in jail. And that's
okay,
just it. And that's a normal day. But this is a day where you know there'll be a lot of people outside, people on the drink. I think that's the day you're going to deploy a lot of security. So we shouldn't blame the managers. Let's maybe blame the government for not providing enough security for those
Yeah,
people
it
that
comes
are
from
working.
upstairs, as I said,
Yeah.
upstairs, yeah.
Because
okay,
even
but okay, I get what you're saying.
Mm,
You're sort of blaming the government. Well, it's not exactly the government's responsibility to secure
mhm,
that venue. It is
Yeah,
the Football Association and
yeah,
oh,
UEFA's responsibility.
yeah,
This is the property of the FA and
yeah,
UEFA.
mm,
If they need the government's help, they have to let them know. Just like the Olympics, when security wasn't enough, the Olympics asked the government to help, and the government provided the army. You know what I mean?
yes.
This has been done before. But what I'm saying is it justifiable for you, the paying customer, to go and beat up the person that didn't pay? That is the question.
Yeah, but I think me as a paying customer, this
uh,
this paying customer, guys, was
Yeah.
trying to protect his money because
Oh,
listen, first of all, guys, this guy, if he went to pay, it means he loves the football, right? He loves the
right.
football. That's why
Yeah.
he took his money and
Yeah.
paid for it.
Yeah.
So
So
he
does the
wants
get. So
he
does the
wants to
get
enjoy
crusher.
it. Yeah, but no, but the great crusher loves the thing. Why did he go and pay first?
You maybe
Well,
couldn't afford it.
he wanted to go for free.
Oh, so,
Ah,
so, so, so you're
Oh, bigger.
telling me that if you were in that situation and
yeah.
me and Wantali get crashed, that means you would be one of the people
You'll be
stamping
whooping
us.
us,
Yeah, I
basically.
said, no, man. I mean, I can pay you, come for free.
So you're a free bouncer for the
Yeah,
stadium.
go and sit at home and watch the football. You don't have money.
do,
Go and sit at home and watch.
Okay,
do what you
If
gotta
you
Ovita,
didn't
do,
pay,
man.
Vita, not that I want to get you implicated, but have you ever downloaded something that you're meant to pay for,
yes,
for free?
yes, but if they
Okay,
want, they can come.
okay. So my question is, Ovita, if I paid for that same item, should I come to your house and beat you up?
Huh? No. Okay, no. But listen, no, but you have the power to do that to say, my man,
I have
don't
the
be downloaded. Do you know how you can do it?
yeah,
Simple. You're gonna be like, no, me, I'm paying for this shit, and this one you want to be getting for free. Pick
yeah.
up your phone. No, there's this man, house number 75. He's downloading his stuff for free.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So you've just answered the question. It's not justifiable for me to come to your house and beat you up, but it is
Eh,
justifiable for me to call someone with
mm,
authority, the
eh.
lawful way, and say, "Hey, that guy is downloading unnecessary stuff," right?
Yeah, but see, at the end of the day, if you understand, in the scenario, it's different because it's my house and you're
Right.
at your house. It's my property. But
Oh,
this is a public property, okay?
oh,
Hey, it is a public property.
right.
You know what I mean? This guy has wasted his money. He said that no, the team is going to play such a day. Here's my money. These people can save. People that can buy even the whole tournament tickets because they love
Yes,
the team.
yes.
But this guy wants to go there for free. Most of the people that are starting those riots are those ones who are coming in for free as well.
Mm.
I'm telling you.
This
How
guy,
do you
man.
know that?
I'm telling you.
How do
Most
you
of the
know
Yeah,
people
that?
that are
but
starting.
Ovida, it's a
Eh,
public place, but it's still policed. It's there's still laws that you cannot look. You and me, I cannot just meet you in the streets and take a piece of brick and start stamping you. I will get arrested. So it's the same thing. Like that's just acting I know what you're trying to say, but that doesn't work in this world anymore. That used to work back in the days when you're trying to crash your party, and we're like, you know what, this guy, we're gonna kick the shit out of him because
Yes.
we're trying to crash his
Well,
party. But this is different.
Because you know these guys, you've been to parties where you go there, you've paid, you've contributed something, you're partying, and somebody comes and he starts going to the fridge, taking 1, 2, 3. You go to him and say, "Man, wait here, come here. Who are you?"
One daddy. This is so ironic coming from a guy who said he was refused to get into a party just days ago for not paying 10 quid. You put that on your Facebook.
Yeah, but
it all comes out, my friend. It all comes out, bro.
It all does come out, man. Hey, Fadson, what are your thoughts, man? Is it justifiable for people to beat up, if you've paid and the other person hasn't paid, and the ticket prices, they were going up to £4,000, I think it was, from about, I think 300 to £4,000. So you pay £4,000 ticket. There's a guy who's just breaking through because the security is weak. Are you then allowed to take the law into your... Okay, maybe let me not sit on the other side. Are you allowed to just, help the stewards by putting a few picks in there?
You know what? Each to their own, bro. You know what I mean? It's a hard one. Thing is, I can see both sides to it, man. Like, you worked hard to pay your money to be able to get there. Then you got a weekend sort of security system which allows you to be able to, to break through and do what you need to do. Like you said, I'm pretty sure we've all done it in our own weird sort of fucked up ways. We've all done what we needed to do to get what we wanted. Oviedo's the best example of it all, obviously, as we've established. But you know what? Like, there's certain situations, certain scenarios would allow it, makes it easier and almost, it's almost. What's the word I'm looking for? You can almost get away with it because of the situation. However, I don't think it's right. Let's be real about it. We've all done it, but I don't think it's right. There's people are paying with their good hard-earned money to do what they need to do to support their teams, whether it's football, whether it's music, whatever it is. We've all done our bit to do what we need to do to get there. And I'm not the biggest fan of it personally, as hypocritical as it sounds, because we've all been there once upon a time in our lives. So to me, no, it's not cool. It's not cool.
Yeah, you can't. So that's true. I mean, you have to understand the anger of these fans, because it was reported that the people that were gate crashing were taking people's seats as well. So they weren't just.
You know what? I've been on the flip side of that. I've been on the flip side of that. I've paid for tickets to go watch Man United or whatever. You get there and there's a guy in your seat who will turn around and show you a ticket that's in his own name, and you're like, for a fact this guy's not paid it. He's done what he needs to do to get away with it. You're like, you end up disputing with them and the stewards, and like, it is what it is, man. Like, so I get it, but yeah, I don't think it's right personally.
All right, well, that's true. That is true. So the final bit to conclude this basically. So if you guys remember when England beat Germany, there was a crying young girl, that they really highlighted on, that was really jeered, and the England fans loved the banter and whatnot, and then one fan from Newport, I think it was, felt sorry for this kid and formed a page. I'll just share it now, actually. This page here, a Just Giving page. All right. This page was formed. Well, the donation part was formed 23 days ago, right? In 23 days, they managed to rack up 36,176 for a girl who cried because her team lost. All right. This caused an uproar. Like, a lot of people were like, what? Like, people were,
this is bullshit.
Kids dying of hunger. Palestine.
Yes.
All this stuff. And then all of a sudden the girl cries, and we're putting this to, we're putting something. I mean, the gesture is good because that guy felt sorry for what they did to her. The gesture is always good. But this action, right? This was done in this amount of time. yet there are people that are starving. We can turn the TV on right now and see a kid with a fly in his face and switch the channel. You know what I mean? Like, if you can do this, why aren't we doing the rest? That, for me, that was sort of what I wanted to add to this. I don't know if you guys have anything else to add to this,
Me,
but
the
Yeah,
only
just
thing I want to
wait,
say.
Ovida. I wanted to say, Ovida, did you see the meme for this?
okay.
I know I'm laughing. I know it's horrible, but you know what? I've never seen like football fans were something else. Like fair play to you guys, man. Like football Twitter is just evolved. So there's a phrase called "cry more." Somebody posted this girl on top and wrote "cry more," and that's how everything started for the defense. But for you to go to make your time to post a small girl and say cry more. I don't know what's wrong with you guys, but you know
Yeah.
what? I don't know if you guys have noticed this. I don't know if it's the same guy. There's another guy. I don't know if it's him who's been exposed that this is just a lie and he's not going to give the money or something. I don't even know if it's the same guy who's been exposed as a pedo or something, but I don't want to say it's him. But whoever was the first one, I don't know if it's him or somebody was exposed for that, and then was exposed that he's a fraud for doing this. He's not actually giving the money to the family,
Oh,
or the family said we haven't received any cent from whatever
well,
was raised.
well, according to reports, the money's gone to UNICEF, so I don't know if they've received it or not. It's gone to a good cause, apparently. So
Yeah,
that's a
no,
that's a
that
good
makes
thing.
that's a good thing because to be honest, guys, fair play like for the phrasing, but that was really it was really stupid to see because a young girl has cried because of football. Like
Yeah.
guys, first of all, football, despite these people have taken football in other bad using ratio, but as you know, football, you Man United and Man City, if we sit together watching football in the house, we are there, we're slagging, okay?
Mm, mm,
And that's
mm.
how football is like that. Even if when we go to football, other team slags other supporters, but not
Yeah.
in racial abuse. You know what I mean? You sing songs. That's why I believe when we're playing sports, we'll be singing songs. The other team will sing songs. You sing your song, then they'll reply. You know, a little bit of banter.
Yeah.
And then if somebody starts crying, you're telling me, oh, everybody just goes, yeah, let's start a crowdfunding because that one they cried.
If
Oh
that's the
wait,
case,
so you're telling me that the attack master doesn't have an age?
Yeah,
if that's the case, I should be a millionaire now, man.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, of course, if that was the case, because there's times you get slugged and you feel like, hey, but that one is hateful. You know, I'm telling you, you go and watch football, you're watching football, people they hit you. Me, I've watched football before with the team where I was only Man United and we're losing and everybody's on you. You feel like
All
I
right.
should leave, but
Yeah.
you're there with someone who drove you even there. How are you going to go home?
Yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
wait. And
That's
him
all
is
right.
Oh,
ah.
so Vida, what you're trying to say is it's good that it's the attack on her started young. It's supporting them because somebody said
Oh,
this, by the way. I know this might sound evil, but somebody said her father afforded a plane ticket for them and the
yeah.
family to go
Yeah.
all the way to England. And you
Yes.
guys, you think they need the money? Why don't you
That.
sponsor people who are trying to go watch their countries and can't afford it? Why don't you do that? Look, I know that it's a kid, and unfairly people went a bit evil. Especially the cry more, it got me. I should admit, I was like, this is this is a bit too much. But I think everybody was sympathetic. I feel sorry for the kid. I feel sorry for people to start attacking the kid. It's a good thing that nobody actually directly attacked her, like attacked their family or anything. But I think it went a bit extreme out of hand when somebody says, "Oh, we're going to do a fundraising," and to see a fundraising like that to go to 36 grand within a short while, and why countries like other countries are starving, they've got starving kids, people are struggling, people are homeless, and it takes this minute for you to cry on TV. Even if I said it's a child, we get it, but it was just amazing that the human race reacts to certain things differently. While in Palestine, there's kids that are being bombed, kids that are being kidnapped, and kids that need support, kids that need to see their family again have been separated, but we haven't raised a cent. And you say, "Oh, I can't afford that, but I can afford to give this kid." So you know
Because
what?
you
I think that's
cried.
what Wantali was trying to prove. That you're right about that. You know.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that marks the end of this episode, guys. Um, First, I want to thank Fadson for coming on. Fadson of the Fadson podcast. To start with, we've got his link in the bio as well. So if you like what he said or what he spoke about, he speaks about relationships. He spoke about the Super League. He also has spoken about this in a bit more depth, I believe, probably with a bit more color. So guys, yeah, man, make sure you follow Fats and podcast. Some lovely episodes on there.
No,
Guys,
I I appreciate. Sorry to cut you off. I appreciate
That's fine.
it, man.
That's fine.
It's a pleasure being back on the 5 Rounds podcast as well.
Come on.
I've got a feeling it's going to happen quite a lot more. Yeah, no, boys, it's always a pleasure. The conversation's always good. It's always a laugh. Like one Tally said, we do have our Euro 2020 roundup, and we touch on the racist part in quite a lot of depth. So that's going to be out next week. So I appreciate the likes, the follow, the subscribes, and all that jazz. And boys, like I said, from the bottom of my heart, you guys are doing big bits, and I appreciate you guys more than you guys will ever know. And it's always a pleasure being part of the show, man.
That is true. That is true. Yeah. So absolutely, man. We appreciate you coming on. The content that you brought. I mean, the additional comments that you brought, man. It helped move this topic along. Thank you very much for that, man. Other than that, as you can see, we've got Ovi wearing the 5 Rounds merch.
Stand up, Ovida. Stand up.
I'm just gonna bring him. I'll bring him into the screen real quick. If Ovi, please.
This is one of the merch. One out of the thousands that are there. So this is 5 Rounds podcast. Make sure you subscribe.
Yeah, I'll wait for mine in the post.
And this one is my only one. It has my quote, my slogan in the back.
What it do?
So basically, my real quote, what it do, what it does.
That's an OV custom. That is.
Yeah, that's my custom one. But
sorry,
we got hoodies, we got face masks, we got bags, we got duffel bags. The list keeps going on. I don't know. What's there, man?
We got loads of things, and they are coming soon, guys. All right. So the merchandise is not open yet, but it is coming soon. We will do a grand opening. We'll do I think we'll do a launch or something like that. But we'll come up with a plan and we'll let you know when it's out. But guys, if you like the merch, smash a like for the merch. Smash a like for the episode if you like what we spoke about. And also, if you want to suggest anything that we should do, please suggest it. Also, as Ovi's shirt says, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you subscribe. Other than that, what is the name of the show, boys?
5 Rounds.
See you guys later, man.
See you later. Ciao.